I wonder if there was a way to do that. I'm not sure. Okay, 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 okay. I got that. I got that. I got that. I got that. Boom. Computer not gonna die. We Gucci. All right. So I'm probably just gonna start. Not even probably. This is what I'm about to do. I'm gonna start talking about everything and moving into Terry and whatnot. Just in case people want to fall in, and I'm mostly just recording the stream like this because I don't have any storage on my phone, so I can't record videos and post them. So I said I just can't keep going without posting videos because I'm trying to stay consistent with this in a way, in a very minuscule way. So for anybody who's new, anybody who doesn't know, my name is Jane, aka Jane Doe, aka Jane the Sage, aka the Afro Bae. And basically what all of that means to me, it's like my anime description because I'm an anime character. If I do say so myself, I feel like I'm an anime character in my life. The way life has been lifing. I feel like I have a hard ass origin story. And I'm just born to be a great ass philosopher slash world changer slash overthrower of the government. But we'll get into that. Anyways, welcome to my crazy ass channel and welcome to the world of my thoughts. Confessions of a Black Girl. That's pretty much what Confessions of a Black Girl is. Me discussing different things that I'm thinking about because when you go through life as life is lifing, you really be wondering, what the hell is going on? And sometimes, you sit there and you think about it after you ask yourself the question, because a lot of people just ask themselves the question. They be like, what the hell is going on? Shit, fuck it. I be asking myself that question, like, what the hell is really going on? And then I be sitting asking myself, okay, what the hell did I do? What did they do? How is that affecting me? Just being conscious about everything that's going on. Oh, and that's a good starting point. Conscious activity. What does it mean to be conscious? I feel like personally, based off of all the research and shit that I did, conscious and conscious activity basically just means to be aware of yourself, aware of those around you, and aware of your environment and how all those things kind of move in harmony and disharmony in the same breath. I feel like that's truly what consciousness is. Knowing type shit. And you can't be conscious if you always got your head down. But yeah, so today mostly I wanted to talk about 2021, but we're going to of course start by closing out on 2020 because I did something like this last year. I didn't post the full video, but I posted some of it on Instagram in case anybody wants to check that out. My Instagram is Jane with the period done. So Jane.done, Jane period Done. And it's on there 2020 tarot reading. But I figured that I should stay consistent with that because I've been wanting to offer this type of information to people more. And people won't know about it if I don't do it type shit. I know I picked an odd ass hour to be on here, but I figured somebody was gonna be up on this fine Wednesday morning. Excuse me, rising. Even though the sun ain't rose yet, the moon's still going high. But anytime, you wake up, it's a rise, it's a rising. But 2020, I would like to say that 2020 was an odd ass year. It was a year to wake up, most definitely. I can start with my personal experience because I went to a mental health facility right as the year started. So New Year's came in, party with my friends. That following week, shit went downhill. The week after that, ended up in the hospital. Then went to the mental health facility, and that's the start of shit shaking your life up. At least for me, because like I had never really been in a spot to where I would have to go to a mental health facility. Like I've dealt with depression and shit before, and I've like self-diagnosed with that shit before, and I've wanted to go to therapy and shit before like that, but it's been in and out wishy-washy. But That shit, they said I was psychotic. I was going through psychosis and all that shit, and they locked me the fuck up. Let me tell you a thing. Mental health facilities don't help shit. They put you in fight or flight, and I didn't remember a good fucking. I was there for like 7 days. I remember at least 5 of those 7 days, 4 to 5 of those 7 days. It's like blotchy ass memory, and I think that's highly because of the drugs they put me on, and they tried to keep me on those drugs when I got out. But that shit shook me up, and that kind of like it made my brain and everything else like my whole head was blank. And I tell you, that's some of the scariest shit I ever been through, where your whole mind go blank. And I realized some people genuinely don't think, so their heads are blank all the fucking time. How you walk around just confident and shit, I don't fucking know. I'd be nervous if I don't have a continuous stream of thought. I'd be thinking I'm dead or something. But I died. That was my theoretical death for this year. In 2019, I feel like my theoretical death was that car accident I got into because it just kind of put my life at a standstill. This shit put my life at a standstill. Quit my job, then that whole COVID shit busted out, and then life was just rocky. And I feel like COVID, it was a way trying to sedate everybody, but at the same time shaking they shit up because we got all these theories. Government made COVID, or COVID is biochemical warfare, this, that, and the third. And the reality of it is COVID been around for years, at least 30 years. And nobody has ever like really thought of it as a serious thing because they're blowing it out of proportion for what it is. And all it takes is you just researching and looking into it just a tad bit to realize that the shit is basically the flu. But COVID in conjunction with something else, now that's deadly. Just like any type of disease. It's like getting the flu and pneumonia at the same time. May the best immune system fucking win. That's all I gotta say about that shit. But yeah, it was like shaking everybody else shit up. Shaking everybody's shit up. Everybody just was like, going into a frenzy, going into a panic. What do I do? What do I do? And it's kind of like the government was just mixing that shit up with their hands. You ever see your mama make hamburgers with her hands? She mixing the ground beef and the onions and egg and all that shit together, mixing it up with her hands. That's how the government was doing everybody, especially when nobody was paying attention really to the stock market before they started going and buy stocks. Like, so first, all the rich people started pulling their money out the stock market. And the only reason that we didn't enter a complete depression was because they put out a stimulus check and then everybody took that money, and then the money that they had saved up was throwing it into the stock market because they was getting fast money back. But everybody's just exchanging their own money between each other. And it was just interesting seeing how like the economy rises and falls without people actually paying attention to it, and they're more so flustered about everything on like a very mundane level. Everybody's worrying about how they gonna pay their bills now, worrying about how they gonna work because everybody getting laid off. That's that shaking up part. Like everybody is in a way getting the opportunity to redirect their existence, redirect their lives, and a lot of people took that for granted because they didn't understand, understand what was really going on. A lot of us this year was going through our theoretical deaths again. A lot of us been going through it for a while because a lot of us had a lot of transformation that we had to, be a part of. Like, I feel like, some of us have been taking heed and some of us have not. And it's understandable because we all on different wavelengths right now. And we move into a time where everybody is desiring to be in harmony with everything and everyone. But at the same time, nobody really knows how to get there. Nobody really wants to try type shit because think about it. They've been preaching this self-love image for the longest and this self-first vibe. But, I learned how to truly be self-first by learning how to be other people first. Because I was already doing for me, but I noticed that everybody around me, you know, it wasn't working for them. So I had to learn how other people thought. I had to learn how other people lived. I had to learn, how to really walk a mile in somebody else's shoes to even truly understand what it was like to, be in my own shoes. Because the reality of our situation is we aren't who we are without the things that we interact with. Like, it's like the most basic principle they tell us all the time. They say that humans are social creatures, yet we try so hard not to be social. And the pandemic thrusted us further into that condition. That's why I said the government was just mixing that shit up. Like your mama be doing burgers, right? The government mixing that shit up, mixing your shit up. And it's not really working. Well, I mean, it's working for their benefit. Let me say that. But it's not working for our personal benefit. Because the most infuriating thing for me personally dealing with 2020 is one, I understood that the energy we were receiving this year was in a way tainted. Very twisted energy we had going on through this year, which is why everything kind of seemed like it was good, but it was bad at the same time. It's kind of like, just imagine our timeline as a fat ass snake. Fat ass snake. And this fat ass snake is used to, chasing its tail, creating a continuous time loop. So the snake is chasing its tail, trying to eat its tail, trying to eat its tail. This year, just imagine another snake came into the loop as this snake's trying to eat its tail. And now this snake is chasing that snake's tail, and then this snake is chasing that snake's tail. So now it's two snakes, but the other snake doesn't realize it's another snake, right? So now it's like the timeline kind of expanded a little bit, but nobody really understood that, or nobody really seen that, because everybody's focused on that first snake. Like that first snake is just focused on his tail. He's focused on the end, focused on getting to the end. He don't even realize that his end had a new ending and a new beginning type shit. I hope that translated well for y'all. But if it didn't, feel free to ask some questions. I'm willing to explain. But yeah, this year shaking people shit up. It gave everybody a whole new blank slate for a new path, a new redirection in every way, shape, or form to really reevaluate. And that's another thing that infuriated me was that everybody was just trying so hard to climb back into the system, trying so hard to get a piece of the government, trying so hard to, take care of us, take care of us, take care of us. When are we going to realize that they don't give a shit about none of us? They only give a shit about the money that we make this country. This country would not be running if, people weren't working. Everybody's got this messed up conception that it's just racism that, got us in a fucked up ass position. And it's not racism that has us in a fucked up ass position per se. It's the fact that we have a capitalistic government that operates in line with racism. That's the issue. Okay? And we can't get past civil rights and all that shit because nobody really has rights. Like if you look at the Constitution and all that shit, it literally says that we are like property of our states. We produce what makes this country run, which is the money. The economy literally runs this country, and we run the economy. But nobody understands that because we feel like the people that give us the jobs run the economy. We feel like the people we pay our bills to run the economy. And that ain't motherfucking true. Because once all of us stop paying our bills, all of us stop going to work, all of us start like growing our own food and shit, the government, that shit gonna run dry. They're gonna be looking at the states. And the states gonna be looking at us. And we're gonna be looking at them like, you know what I'm saying? And the issue gonna come in when everybody not paying their taxes and shit. But ain't nobody gonna do that. Ain't nobody gonna do that because the real reality of it is a lot of folks are scary as fuck. And it's cool. It's cool to be scared. You know what I'm saying? But you can't be scared forever. And I'm gonna move into these stones that I want to talk about. Cause like I said, 2020 shook my shit all the way up. So I felt like I was just really untethered, unbalanced, and I have spent so much time this year just trying to get grounded. And I found a lot of my grounding being outside in the woods, sitting with the trees, trying to find my voice, listening to my soul, and then stones. And these that I have on. So the first one I want to talk about is the jaspers. Jaspers are really good for if you want to be grounded, if you want to be, one with yourself and everything around you again. I like to describe being grounded as being wrapped in like a nice little fuzzy blanket type shit. And this one is a Cambaba jasper. Cambaba jasper. I'm just gonna tell you the names of them. This one is a leopard skin jasper because it has spots and shit. And then, oh, that's not a jasper, is it? No, that's not a jasper. But the jaspers are fire for grounding. Fire. Recommend them, especially the ones that are like earth tones type shit, because that's really getting you back into that ether, getting you back into the real energy of ether. Because when we look at everything around us, we oftentimes don't visualize or actually see the connection that everything has with us type shit. And I feel like the Jaspers help bring that back out. The next one is a carnelian, or Cornelius the carnelian. It's an agate, and this one is also really good for grounding, but also for like I feel like bringing a sense of like creativity and really working with your root. And my of course my lapis lazuli. I be like lapis lazuli, but everybody be like lazuli. But I really like lapis lazuli. This one is really good for like emotional balance and shit. I feel like, and helping you with your superpowers. Since everybody think that we got our nigga powers on the 21st, the reality was, nigga, you was born with it. It ain't Maybelline, you know what I'm saying? It ain't just gonna magically enter the atmosphere, nigga. It entered the atmosphere when you entered the atmosphere through the motherfucking portal of your mother. But. That's it. That's all I want to say about those right there. And the last few things I want to say about 2020 and like totality. I feel like this year was like the closing for a lot of people who were doing their spiritual work and opening themselves up to a new world of change type shit, because that shit really does take a while to really go through those lessons and really listen to spirit or even listen to the energy that's around you type shit. It takes some time to really get outside of yourself and really focus on that self-care type shit, because being inside of yourself, focusing on getting money, focusing on looking good, focusing on, a business type shit, that's not motherfucking self-care in no way, shape, or form. Because you can do everything you need to do to be quote unquote successful when it comes to money and shit and still be miserable as fuck. White people show us this shit every day. Celebrities show us this shit every day. They're not happy in their relationships. They're not happy with themselves. They're not happy with the appearance of their own bodies. And that's because money is the false thing that we're chasing. We have to remember that that green piece of paper was created in the image of a country that we technically don't live in no more. And that's the one thing that they keep us like under the hood about type shit. We don't live in that same environment no more. And we still trying to operate like we live in that environment. But we also have to understand that a capitalistic system existed in another way since before then. So it's like a chameleon. It changes. It changes. And just like racism, it changes. We have to be mindful of that. I'm trying to keep myself focused because I was talking about the the closing for a lot of people. Spiritual work. That's happening for a lot of people. That's why a lot of folks felt like, they were getting their superpowers and stuff like that because they've been feeling that the atmosphere is changing, and that's mostly because a lot of people are focusing on being in harmony with one another. And when a lot of people align themselves with a similar thought pattern, we create a new wave, a new wavelength, a new wave. It's called I'm gonna say general consciousness or collective consciousness. That's the word. That's the scientific word in the spiritual community. Collective consciousness. Yes, everybody's collective consciousness is in a way being raised because people have been focusing on a new spiritual journey. People have been focusing on changing it as a whole. And then a lot of people, especially Black people, are starting to realize that a lot of this shit is futile. Not futile in the way that we will never, see change or succeed in any type of way, but futile in understanding that the government, the same hand that put you in a cage is gonna keep you in a cage. It's like owning the dog. We want to believe that we're great when we're taking care of our pets and shit like that. But we don't never really understand the reality of making that animal domesticated and dependent on human life. That's the tragedy. It's all beautiful. Oh, I got a pet, I got a companion. That thing is trapped with you. That thing likes you because you had it since birth. It's a fucking slave. A slave that you hang out with when you want some fluffy, furry entertainment. We're the same thing. Just think about it. Entertainment community is dominated by black folks. The business community is soon to be dominated by black folks because the reality of it is, black people are pretty good at just about anything. Fast learners. Shit. We figured out how to white people better than white people and then made it our own again. And white people still mad. So mad that some of them are trying to be us. It's a sickness. All this shit is sick. All this shit is sick as fuck, bro. Sick as a fuck. But yeah, I'm gonna save some more of that for the end of this. And we're gonna break into this tarot shit. So I've been doing tarot reading for about we in 2018. I mean, we not in 2018. See, look, bring your mind back, bitch. We're in 2020. I started doing tarot for real in 2018. I started practicing with other people late 2019, and I really busted out with it this year. So if you was wondering about my credentials as far as this shit, I am primarily self-taught because you got to feel the energy. I was gifted my first tarot deck when I got interested in tarot from somebody else who was practicing Santeria. And so some of my background with it is in Santeria and Ifa. I studied that and Voodoo. Santeria, Ifa, and Voodoo are like the main three fields I started studying when I was doing tarot. And I kind of like bounced around with that and understanding cleansings and all that shit. So I'm like Naruto, you feel me? Making my own motherfucking Nendo way because ain't nobody gonna stop this at all. But I started liking to do this into the new year because I feel like this will help give some people some type of guidance if they looking for any type shit. You know what I wish I had right now? A motherfucking blunt. That's what I wish I had right now. It just seems so appropriate, but it's cool. If I could recommend anything for anybody who's like in between weed or want to try smoking something different, I say smoke like peppermint, lavender, and rose together. Mix all three of those shit together. Grind the shit up first though. Unless you want to be wild like me. I'm a little rough around the motherfucking edges. But it burns way better if you grind it down. And it gives you like this body high. It doesn't necessarily fuck with your mind like weed does. I feel like weed directly like siphons into every piece of connective tissue and all that shit. And it just like whoa, 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 whoa. But when you smoke the other shit, the herbs, like the other herbs and shit, it relaxes your nervous system. That's what I've noticed the most. It gives me a beautiful, beautiful, relaxing vibe. So the cards I'm going to be using today are the Tarot of the Orishas cards. I had the basic one that I got gifted before, but after I got this tarot deck, I wasn't really using this one like that, and then the other ones disappeared. My little cover and everything, them hoes gone. To this day, I really think somebody stole them bitches. I ain't gonna cap. I think a bitch got me from my cards. I ain't gonna lie. But at the same time, either way, them hoes disappeared in a very peculiar manner. So I was just like, it's just a sign. I'm gonna just use these more. I feel like I got pretty well at reading them and interpreting them. I also do readings for other people. The link is in my Instagram bio. I know, right? Why make you go all the way to Instagram to do that shit? Cause I don't have a link on me, and yeah, that part. When it's over, I'm probably just gonna post it and put everything in the description though. I'm like semi-lazy. I'm not gonna say I'm not even really lazy. I'm just work efficient. So let's see what we getting into for 2021. What shall we expect? What's the vibe gonna be? Is it gonna be vibing, immaculate, or nasty? I've been having a feeling this vibe next year gonna hit people harder than 2020 did. And if you ain't ride the wave in 2020, you gonna drown in 2021. But that's my personal opinion. Let's see what the cards have to say. The spread I'm gonna do is one I like to do when I want to just get right into the nitty gritty or whatever the fuck going on or whoever I'm reading in that moment. And it's 7 cards. And then I might pull 1 to 2 just for clarification or a little extra on a situation if I need it. Oh, if anybody's ever really interested in any type of spreads or anything like that, let me know personally. I have lots of spreads that I got out of different books and some that I created on my own. This with these things. With these things. All right. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, I knew it. We've been moving back into that period for a while, though. Okay. Are you guys ready for this? So, first things first, I'm going to go through the cards, kind of describe what I see is going on the cards, and then if I feel like I need to, I'm going to read out the book too. So, you can grasp your own meaning of it as well. Because I don't want you to just take what I'm saying as law, as rule. You know what I'm saying? I want you to take what I'm saying, interpret it in your way, and then, make it work for you in your life. Because we all on the same frequency, within one band type shit. But we all in different places within that frequency. And we got to remember that what necessarily rides for another person might not ride for another person. So I try to be flexible with all of that shit. So off rip, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 major arcana cards that off rip is telling me that we got some things to work on, not necessarily worry about type shit. And looking at the cards, we got 2 earth cards and 1 air card. So it's mostly dealing with manifestation and thoughts. It's gonna be a real think tank, So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up this first one in the book and then show you. So the first card we got is 9 of air. And you look at the card, right? These are gun barrels. 9 gun barrels pointed at this one bird. This bird is in a very treacherous situation. What is he gonna do? Where is he gonna go? It was a beautiful ass day, and now there's 9 fucking gun barrels pointed at me. It's in a funky ass situation, right? Like, I feel like that's something that we're gonna be moving into, and we still coming out of a funky ass situation. Everybody, seemed like shit was peaceful. 2019 towards the end, in a way. 2020 shook that shit up, and then 2021 just ripping more shit, adding another gun barrel type shit. And I'm gonna read what the book has to say. Nine up air, upright, worry, suffering, pressures, and underlying dangers. Somebody wants something that belongs to us, maybe creditors, some illness, risk of death. And a little bit more into detail. I feel like shit about to get a little bit more treacherous for African Americans in particular. Like, if we really looking at this card, like, that's the first thing that came to mind. Because a lot of us have really been thinking. A lot of us really been becoming way more conscious about our situation and what we're doing. Because it's like, it's one thing to be like, okay, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to make money, I'm going to buy a house, you know, throw some money for my mom type shit, you know, have some shit for my kids, get them in a good school, and, you know, live the rest of my days out. And it's another thing when you going to get a job and moving with a purpose. Like, that's something I've been redefining for myself this year, a purpose. And if you haven't found your purpose, I really encourage you to truly understand what that is for yourself or what it means to be purposeful moving, because 2021 is really going to require that of you. If you are not purposeful in what you're doing, it's going to be easy to have them gun barrels pointed in your face. You're going to be worried. You're going to be, you know, risk of death, dying again, having to recreate yourself as an individual. And, you know, it's one thing to just do it on your own, and it's another thing to get your head blown off and that bitch had to grow back. Like that dude from Men in Black that went in that pawn shop. He cocked that gun at him, blew his head off. Will Smith was like, "Oh my God, what the fuck?" You know, and his head grew back very tiny. It was very painful, excruciating, but his head was going back. And, you know, just think about it in that regards. You can either rebuild this yourself, you know, in your way by going to get the help and shit that you need, or you can get your head blown the fuck off. So the choice is yours. Moving into 2021, keep your brain alive. Remember where your purpose is. Be conscious in your movements type shit. And the next card we're moving into is the man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-pointed star. The man. Every time I see this card, it kind of puts me in a mindset of like, one, duality. Two, like trusting oneself and like guidance type shit, because he's in a star, and the fact that the background around it is blue, it's like a cool area, and he's naked, so he's like the most natural type of man you can have. And being that he's naked, you know, just spread eagle, you know what I'm saying? He confident in some way, shape, or form. He's just being him, he's existing. And the fact that they have him in a star is kind of like, you know, showing a symbol of like strength, light, guidance, power, you know, things, attributes that I would say a good man possesses, you know. But I'm gonna read what the book has to say to get to specifically what they are showing us. Faith and hope, favorable prospects, qualities of the soul, creation, inspiration, creativity, mentalism, psychism. Mm. So I'm gonna read the thing, the little story it has with the card too, because I feel like that is important. A man naked, just as he was born, which represents his essence. His position is therefore like that of a five-pointed star, because five are his senses, five the directions in which he moves, north, south, west, east, and center, and five the elements he needs to live, the fifth being his soul of or spirit. He directs his five terminal points, the head, two upper extremities, and two lower extremities, to the 5 points of the star to reach the five lines of the pentagram and thus the spiritual dimension. Because it's a symbol A star of 5 points represents the central manifestation of light or the mystical center. The star is a magical symbol that has been with us from the beginning of time in all our conception and works, ideals, and dreams. A star is an image of dreams or the idealization of a dream or an intense and fervent desire. It is a symbol of energy pleasing to the eye. It represents the star that led the three Magi from the east to Bethlehem. The 5 pointed star in this position indicates balance and strength and striving for human perfection. It represents good. So, side note, if you don't know what Magis are, mages, sages, the same shit. There's this religion that existed prior to Christianity and some other shit called Zoroastrianism. The anime that taught me about this shit is called Magi, and they got two different versions of it. They're dungeon capturers and shit, and it's really spilling some history. It's really spilling some history. Yeah, they might all be white. Some of them might be white. Some of them might be dressed up fancy or with their little blouse shirts and bullshit. But it's really laying some real shit about history. This is why I love anime, bro. Because I think that the Asian people, in some way, shape, or form, were like scribes. Like their people were specific to keeping records. Because how they know this shit? How do they just be knowing this shit? You know, I get that America kind of got its own like lockdown with information and shit. And you kind of got to go out like real life searching. But yeah, back to this card. Oh, hold on. Let me get my music straight real quick because I was vibing. Frequency got disrupted low key. My little feelings hurt because I was really jamming. I was jamming, and then the SoundCloud app decided it don't want to work no more. But it's not SoundCloud's fault. It's really my fault because I don't really have no storage on my phone. And while that's doing its thing, so I feel like this card in conjunction with this card, you gotta move with the purpose. And this one basically, telling all of us to like redirect our energy type shit. We're moving to a place where, like I was saying before, everybody kind of, not even kind of, everybody wants to live in harmony with one another in the environment. And it's like everything is crying out. The young kids are crying out. Like that little girl named Greta. I don't really be keeping up with the shit, but I be seeing, shit on Instagram, Twitter, come across my YouTube feed, what have you. But she looks young as shit. And she's already, becoming an activist for the earth. It's sad that we have to have activists for every fucking thing. We gotta have activists for human rights, nature preservation, conservation, children. Like, what the fuck? Like, why are we here at this point? Because everything, it ain't even everything. It's just like the people that are quote unquote in control of this shit do not want us to be viable and or successful in any way, shape, or form. The fact that we have to have activists to take action upon these things. But yeah, man. This is like, everybody's been looking for like that guide. Everybody's been looking for that star, that message, that chariot coming from the sky. They looking for Jesus, God. They looking for the great return or the great awakening. Everybody's getting anxious. Their spirits are awaiting something, and they're awaiting our own energy shift. We are waiting for that transformation that we already been doing, that we possess type shit. And we just have to move purposeful and truly be conscious about everything in order to dive into the actual shit. You ain't gonna, be able to get into it or truly understand it if you still working a 9 to 5, still trying to figure out how you gonna feed your kids this bullshit ass food and dress them in these bullshit ass clothes just so y'all can go do bullshit ass activities on the weekend. Cause think about it, bro. They literally got everybody on a motherfucking schedule. Monday through Friday, most people working. Whether you're doing day shift, night shift type shit. And then, you got those in-betweener shifts. You got the Sunday to Wednesday or the Thursday to Mondays type shit. Like, you working 8 to 14 to 24-hour shifts for money. You're selling yourself short for a sheets of paper to exchange with other people for experiences, activities. They manage to bottle up and sell us every part of our existence, and that is what's been crushing our spirits. That's what's been adding more barrels to the motherfucking, you know. That's why, like I was saying earlier, everything is so sick. And the next card we're moving into is Nine of Earth reversed. But I'm gonna turn it upright so you can get a look at it. You got something that could be considered like Pachamama, because the woman, she basically the holy grail. She has to keep the soils. I mean, yeah, basically the soils fertile, so that they can be fertilized, and so that everybody can reap the benefits. Everything can grow. But when it's like reversed, it's kind of like we're not really planting. It's kind of like giving me the vibes like we want to reap this, but we didn't plant the seeds for it in totality. Like, the seeds ain't viable. What we've been planting, what we've been trying to eat off of, ain't real. And I'm gonna read the definition of the book. Cause it's really out of my control. As a result of your position, you may lose your home, partner, or family. Since you are alone, you can be robbed. Be cautious. Any exodus brings knowledge as well as danger, trouble, and perhaps suffering as well. Right. So yeah, kind of going in line with what I was saying. We can't really live off of what's been planted. We can't live off of what the government has been like giving us, because it's their fault that we even ended up in this position in the first place. It's their fault that we feel like we have to change our energy and upgrade in the first place. It's like people are realizing, but once they realize, that fear kind of knocked them back down. And we don't really have time for that, because your card literally say you're gonna lose your home, your partner, your money, all that shit. Life is about to get shaken up again. Just like they running in with that COVID trial vaccine bullshit. They're gonna be running back in telling you that COVID is spiking. They're gonna be throwing events on top of telling you that COVID is spiking. So they give you the cause and effect. They're giving you the chain reaction. They're showing it happening on the media, and the fact that they control the media outlets through money. They control the people's thoughts and action through money type shit. You only seeing what they want you to see. You're only doing what they want you to do, because you're not even thinking for yourself. You're not conscious for yourself. You're not living a viable life for yourself. Everything that most people have been doing when COVID started is a reaction. Everybody's reacting instead of looking at the situation for what it is and moving how you want to move. Like, they cause people to go back to the crabs in a barrel situation shit. Like, niggas is berating other niggas that's not wearing masks. Niggas is berating other niggas for going to parties. Niggas is on the verge of fighting, killing other niggas because they coming around their kids not wearing a mask type shit. They keeping us separated. They still controlling our mind type shit. You don't trust nobody. They got niggas not even trusting the bitch and the nigga that they sleep next to. You can't trust your wife. You can't even sleep next to your husband because you got COVID. Like, I don't give no fucks about that. And the fact that some people are willing to be in separate rooms, but no fucks about that. Because if they already trapped you in the house with your whole family, like, if your husband caught COVID and the shit's supposed to be airborne, it could travel through the motherfucking vents and shit, right? And if it can travel through the motherfucking vents and shit, or you gotta come in and give him food and shit, you already doing that transaction And then you interacting with the kids, you're doing a transaction. That mask ain't gonna motherfucking save you. Putting hand sanitizer on your hands 50,000 times ain't gonna save you because our bodies already have natural antimicrobial properties on top of the shit that we're supposed to be eating and the shit that we're supposed to be doing. Your body is naturally going to take care of that shit. The fact that they can scare people into thinking that their own immune systems are trash. We can't we can't do nothing with the shit they sold, bro. It's stupid. They literally sold some shit into the ground and it's sprouting up. We in fucking funny ass Mirrorland and everybody's like, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. No, it's not motherfucking cool. And the next car we're moving into is the Outcast reverse. I'm gonna turn it up right. So it's another naked man. He got his little knapsack in the back. You know, he kind of hitting the fool on these niggas. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't know what the fool card is, the fool, he usually like this jester looking man, white man, dressed up. He got his little knapsack sometimes. Sometimes he hanging upside down. Usually that's the hangman, but sometimes the fool do be hanging upside down. But most of the time he looked like he, blowing type shit. And that's what he looked like he doing because African men are smooth. they ain't goofy looking like them jester ass niggas. That's why his nuts hanging, bro. Nigga out here. And like he got the rose in his mouth, he like, I don't know what awaits me in life, but I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? The Outcast. He looked like, even though he out on the sides, you know what I'm saying? He's still living. Life ain't knocked him down too bad. He said, fuck it, I'm gonna make a new beginning. But this shit reverse. So I think that's like, in a way, showing the resistance. A lot of people are going to be resisting of the truth. A lot of people have been resisting the truth because we have been in a state of comfort based off of what they sold for us. We are going to be like completely shaken up from that comfort on top of, a lot of more bad shit happening, a lot of more deaths, a lot of more kidnappings, a lot of more police brutality because you only see what the fuck they put on the news. That's another thing. Like, they literally keep us from living. We don't live. We react and we do what we have to do, quote unquote, have to. We need to change that fucking vocabulary because you don't have to go and make money. All you have to do is open your mouth. Because as soon as you open your mouth, you open a pathway to get whatever the fuck you want to get. But anyways, I'm going to read this out the book. I probably should just start it from the beginning. I thought I knew what page it was on. Like, I don't really be using this book when I be doing it for myself. Cause I can look at the cards and be like, yup. This used to be my motherfucking song. Oh baby, oh, you won't know the truth. If it wasn't real me and you, would it be the right thing to do? Alright. Reverse. As this card is completely ambivalent, I don't know what that word means. I'm gonna throw that out there. It may present various contradictory and opposite situations. Therefore, he may change what has been said before and go back to the right path, or else his weakness and or deficiencies may become aggravated and irreversible. Suicidal instincts, sexual perversion, obsessive neurosis, uncontrolled psychism, cynicism, physical vampirism, 1,000 masks for a single face because he does not know who he is or where he is going. I'm gonna read that shit again. The last part, like the whole thing. 1,000 masks for a single face because he does not know who he is or where he is going. And I'm gonna read this quote they put down here at the bottom because the way he wrote this thing was immaculate. A weak character is a defect that, under critical circumstances, certainly leads to a disastrous consequence. There is a void that nothing can fill. Don't that sound a lot like black folks? Don't that sound a lot like black folks? And that's the reality that a lot of us are refusing to motherfucking face. We do not know, or I can't say we. I already went through my mental breakdown. Went through my mental breakdown, and my mental reconstruction is just about complete. But yeah, a lot of us do not know who we are. A lot of us do not even know how to begin to scratch at the surface of figuring out who we are and what we are. And that in itself is the sickness, because they sold some shit for us. They sold our minds together in a particular way. And even though we understand that it doesn't necessarily work for us, and a lot of shit don't make sense because we think differently type shit, and we exist differently, and we always end up understanding what they mean and what we want to do in the same breath. But it always ends up causing us more problems either way it goes. I feel like that's why a lot of more black women, black men been experiencing, mental health issues, because the reality of it is they don't provide real substance for curing mental health issues, because this environment is what causes us to have mental health issues. When you really are conscious and you understand everything that's going on around us, how can you not be depressed? How can you not, be infuriated? How can you not become, dangerous or suicidal? It's a spectrum. Either people, go shoot the club up or shoot themselves up. Like, and the in between is I am overwhelmed, so I've become depressed, and I'm going to sit here. Nothing shall happen until something happens. We don't take into account what depression is either. Like, I started to understand that I would become depressed when I would start to outgrow my environments, but my environment tried to keep me on this level. I'm in high school depressed as fuck because I'm zooming past a lot of people as far as knowledge and substance as an individual, and I'm more mature than my peers because I already figured out the keys. They showed me the keys was money early on. So I did what most nigga kids do, get a fucking job. But then I was like, I need more than one key. So I figured out the keys to the white man world. And that was education. I tried it. I'm gonna try again. But I wasn't ready to be in that bitch because I was trying to assimilate the first time. And you can't completely assimilate in that type of environment because you won't be yourself by the time it's done. I started becoming a completely different person. I was a completely different person for a little while. And that's the scary part. When they start seeing you change as an individual and they think that it's better change, but it's not necessarily better change because you're not changing for the benefit of you. You think it's your benefit because you're going to get this money, but it's not your benefit because now you have to force pieces of yourself back into a box. I got to change my hair. I got to change the way I dress. I got to change the way I talk. I got to smile in people's faces that don't fucking like me. Like, and that's one thing about me. Like, I don't like being fake in no situation, and I ain't. And I don't give a fuck about the job. I don't give a fuck about the position. A bitch cross me or some shit go wrong, I'm out in her shit, his shit, in their face, in the group face. It don't matter. You pick your poison, babe. And that's another thing. A lot of people are afraid to speak up and just, be real because they don't want to lose their jobs. They don't want to lose these connections. They don't want to lose these relationships that aren't even fucking valuable type shit. Niggas is afraid of actually being an outcast. So you become the outcast anyways. Your situation was going in your favor type shit, even though it was kind of rocky because you walk in that thin line between fuck this shit and maybe, you know what I'm saying? But when you just saying, okay, I'm gonna just do what they want me to do, you building your own personal hell. You an outcast to yourself. You become outside of yourself. Like you now become your shadow. That's what they always be talking about. You have a subconscious mind and a conscious mind type shit. Your subconscious mind and your conscious mind are the same fucking thing. Stop letting these folks confuse you. Stop letting these folks confuse you. The fact that they sitting here telling you that your higher self is separate from you, your subconscious mind is separate from you, is fucking you up. Because the reality of it is, you have a personality that you portray, and you have multiple personalities that make up who you are as a person. It is up to you to dive into all of those or continue to try and force this one personality out. And when that one personality gets tired, shit hits the fan. You start to revert. You start to do other shit. You start to have mental health issues. You can't present that personality anymore because that personality was never you. It was only a fraction of who you were. You might have outgrown that. But how would you know? Because you're an outcast to yourself. We got to change the narrative. We got to change our environment. We got to sow new seeds in our heads. We got to sow our minds together in a different way so that we can redirect our energy and become that fire in the dark so that we not getting, shot up by some other shit. Burn so bright that shit either is attracted to you in unison or afraid of you because they cannot have what you have. And that's the reality of what we deal with white people on a daily basis. And I'm not just gonna single out white people, but I keep saying white people because the reality of it is a lot of them are our enemies and don't even understand why they're our enemies. I personally don't think about a lot of white people as enemy, but I know that I wouldn't trust white people. But that's just logical. I mean, come on. They literally built this country off of our relatives' backs. Some that were already here. Let's start there. A lot of Africans were already here. And they brought more over here so they continue building on our backs. And come to find out that African people actually wrote the Constitution. They wrote the Declaration of Independence type shit. They built the government system that we live in today. White people just, painted it white, changed a couple of words around, put a couple of white faces up, Everything that is around us is African. And every religion and every piece of education and every way that somebody thinks operates is influenced by African everything because Africans were here first. Africans went everywhere first. Every African shared that knowledge. Africans are the reason why so many civilizations became the great civilizations they were because it wasn't like, oh, we gonna take what we got and we gonna sell it to everybody. No, them niggas was like, oh my God, life is so beautiful. I want to be beautiful like life. So they went out and found that shit, lived that shit, fostered the growth in that shit, and they loved the other culture so much they started creating new races and shit. But you wouldn't understand that because you were outcast to yourself and you refuse to sow new seeds. You fucking refuse. We can't refuse no more. We can't. We can't. Shit. This is why I'm doing this shit right now. This is why I talk about everything I talk about. This is why I literally put my whole existence on blast. Because I was like, I know I'm not the only bitch around here going nuts. I know I'm not. Just to come to find out, they the ones who put a box on top of your head and put some nuts in it. So when you rattle it around, you think you thinking. No, snatch that box off and actually work them brain muscles. We are not monkeys in the circus anymore, guys. We gotta let that go. We gotta stop looking up to Uncle Sam and Massa and the Massa in the sky. Because the whole Christianity concept, God concept, any version of God concept is slavery in the sky. And then they even sell you slavery, but in red. Like, what the fuck? You could take slavery in gold and white or slavery in red, kind of over summertime. You know what I'm saying? And before I get into the next card, I want everybody to shift their thinking about, the devil and what the devil is and what that means. Because the devil is literally your own thought process. You create your own demons. That's the most important thing I learned about reconstructing my mind. The things I used to be scared in the dark as a child were shadows and other energies type shit. But as I got older, they literally became memories that I suppressed. They were moments in history that I couldn't pinpoint and, things that I refused to think about type shit getting at me at nighttime. So it's not these physical demons that they showing you in sci-fi movies and shit. That shit don't really exist. What exists is real life and these real motherfucking problems that you inhibit and become one with because you feel like your whole life is meant to be a struggle based off of some God complex that some white dude had hundreds of years ago. Gotta sow some new motherfucking seeds. Next card, we have Seven of Earth reversed. But I'm gonna turn it upright. Upright, my man's at the coconut tree. He's chopping them things down. He's reaping a good harvest. But we're looking at this thing reversed. You know what I'm saying? You already know where it's going. Or don't you? Or do you? But basically in conjunction with the other cards thus far, we not reaping no good shit. Them coconuts we've been getting down, we've been getting ass backwards and they full of, you know, something else. Not necessarily what we need. It's like them little candy eggs. Some of them got toys in it. Some of them filled with chocolate in the center. Why niggas started putting toys and little candy eggs for kids? I don't know. Cause I can't even be mad if a nigga just bit straight into that shit and choked on some shit. Cause who the fuck thought it was a good idea to put a motherfucking toy in the middle of an edible object? I will never know. I haven't listened to this song in a while. It's called Open Letter. Upright. I mean, upside down. I said upright so confidently. Lack of analysis. The tallest, the biggest, the strongest, or presumably the safest. Presumably the safest is not always the one that has more fruits. What you sowed first will not always grow faster. Your conjectures were hasty. Your impatience brings you little prosperity, despite your having invested the same amount of work. Seek old people's experience, for one becomes experienced and learns about the mysteries of the earth in one's old age. This can assist you when you need food, support, money, etc. So this card really in reality is telling us to get back connected with source. And source is you understanding that you need the motherfucking earth to live. You don't need money. You don't need some fancy ass suit corporate job. Bitch, we need these motherfucking trees. We need this motherfucking grass. We need these motherfucking herbs. We need the motherfucking food that grows out the ground and grows off the trees. We need that shit. Not no motherfucking paper with some pasty ass, old ass white dude on it that we gotta go exchange for some shit that ain't even worth what we worth. And the fact that we even still think about worth equated to money. Niggas is like, man, I ain't about to be making $30,000 a year. I'm worth more than $30,000 a year. Nigga, we still slaves. They just switched up the tax bracket on our ass. We go from, being worth like 2 fucking gold shillings in a nickel to being worth 30,000 fucking green pieces of paper in a 365-day span. Y'all realize that our Gregorian calendar, our years, are based off of our fiscal calendars. And if you didn't, I hate to bust your nuts. But January does not bring in the new year. If we go and abide by the land, New Year doesn't really start until like spring, because we're still in winter until the spring showers bring new trees and new ground till the pollen starts coming up, because that's when Earth is changing again. We're still in our winter cycle, and we have to get back to that. Have to get back to source. We have to spend time, reconnecting with old folks online. If I can recommend some old people to watch online that'll help you in reconstructing your mental space and reconstructing your spiritual space and truly understanding what it is to be you, Dr. John Henrik Clarke. That's a good one. He talks about where Christianity comes from and why it's fucking us in the ass, literally. He talks about, the first document for all that shit. It was called the Confession Confidant of Nasir or something like that. But John Henry Clark, that's a good one. I say go watch the Black leaders discussions that they put up to get your wheels turning about that shit. Cause everybody is looking up to the sky. We need somebody. We need a guide. We have so many guides down here. We have so many people, working tooth and nail for this shit. And now, albeit a lot of these folks out here doing it for money, but I feel like I'm not doing this shit for money. I'm doing this shit because I genuinely want to see people grow. I do a lot of the shit that I do for free, and people get mad at me for doing it for free because you need to live. And I'm like, I'm living off of all of us shifting, okay? Because niggas want to shift and don't realize that we are the shift. We have to make the energy shift. Ain't no motherfucking giant ass spirit about to enter the atmosphere and shake our shit up. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing about to come down here and be like, hey guys, here's your download. No, nigga, superpowers is you realizing that you already had the motherfucking superpowers. Because again, we're outcasts to our own mental and spiritual because we don't know it, because we're trying so hard to still assimilate into a culture that never fucking loved us. The culture is built off of the culture that we already existed in, which is why it's so easy for us to manipulate it. And we have to resow those seeds. And I say resold, but not in a way of, oh, let's go back to Egypt. Oh, let's go back to Ethiopia. Oh, let's go back to Jamaica. No, because everything that we needed from those time periods still exists within us today. We in a place where we have to literally recreate. Not even recreate, we have to create a new. I knew the new year, the new time, the new timeline. We have to create that for ourselves by becoming that energy that we want, seeking that balance within ourselves, understanding that we are first and foremost humans. We are humans. Like, we are humans having a human experience. But we can't realize that if we stuck in fight. You know what I'm saying? Like fight or flight. A lot of people are doing the flight. Some people are doing the fight. And those that be doing the fight on a real level die. And then we have to shift our mindset about it, resow them seeds type shit. And we're moving into this card. I don't know how to say his name, so I'll call him Dr. Man. This is the Dr. Man, the Dr. God. We have him reversed, but, upright. This story about him, he's a Orisha, and he wears the straw over his body because he literally goes to other people and he basically takes on their illness. He takes on their illness and heals them, but sometimes he keeps the scars from it type shit. And so to keep from scaring other people, he puts the straw over his body. And every time he shows up, I always take this card as a need for like healing, a need for real like reconstruction is on like considered a medical standard, medical grade, because people don't take nothing else serious until the doctor be like, yeah, so you about to die and you need surgery to change it. We're not gonna show you all the documentation for this shit, but we are gonna tell you that you're about to die. So do something about it. That's kind of what I get from this. Like you went to the surgeon and the surgeon said you need a procedure. It needs to be done ASAP. That's what I get from him. But I'm gonna read from the book too. I say that every time I pick this book up. It's a habit. And if it's annoying, I apologize. Not for being annoying. Of course not. Not that part. He's been through the worst, made it through the weather. Always been a pain. Badly influenced by other cards. This card may be interpreted to mean an illness or a psychosomatic process, loneliness and ostracism, silent self-examination, seclusion, psychological, behavioral, and communication difficulties. An examination should be made by specialists. A checkup is recommended. Symptoms, however small, should be observed and referred to your doctor. So basically what I was saying, but don't go to these white doctors. You need to go to yourself or, find somebody that's really dedicated in the spiritualist community. I consider myself dedicated, you know what I'm saying? As far as like tarot and being able to do readings and stuff like that. I don't really practice Ifa or Santeria or Hudan in the way that other people do because, they go to their little clubhouses, they have a Baba and all that shit. And I don't want to sound like I'm disrespecting their religion or anything like that, but it's like Christianity for me because they took people, their stories and shit, and then try to make that the end all be all for their existence instead of understanding it. Just like those stories, and just like any group of stories considered a Bible, are stories captured from time that they felt like was important, but now they're using that as a means of control, and they're doing it with Ifa too, because a lot of black people are getting back into Ifa and stuff. A lot of black people are clawing, looking for a way, and I can't even just say black people now. A lot of people in general are clawing, trying to find their way into some shit, trying to find their way into a guide, trying to find their way into a viable existence. And the first thing that they go to is the gods. They go into Islam. They go into Ifa. They go into Santeria. They go into Buddha. I'm like, yes, on the good end of the stick, get connected with your ancestors in a way, in the way that is being portrayed now. Everything that we see now is probably just a tad, small, minuscule amount of what used to go on back then. And he basically just telling us that we really need to heal ourselves. We really need to be mindful. We need to, really dive into everything that we've really been experiencing, examine ourselves so that we can reap what we want to reap and stop eating the shit that they give us. Reap what we want to reap and stop eating the shit that they give us. Stop being an outcast to ourselves, our spirit, and resow our minds so that we can continue to provide the shit that we want to provide. And the last card in the seventh set is Ochun. And if you know anything about Ochun, she's over like love, fertility, sex, just basically she's just the embodiment of love. Every time I see her, that's the first thing I think about. Love. She's the embodiment of that. And that's something that we're all going to need moving forward. We can't operate off of money, trust issues, and existing in fight or flight no more. We literally have to strive to have a connection with one another in the way that we are connected and tethered to this planet. By first realizing that the trees are just as important as we are, and that the next person is just as important as I am. It doesn't matter what his clothes look like. It doesn't matter what his hair look like. It doesn't matter if his skin is dirty or not. We can't keep living this existence thinking that you know, money is the determiner of one's worth. Money is the determiner of one's will, and money will be the determiner of one's, existence. We have to change that because the reality is our existence is in our hands. That love is in our hands. We have to rely on one another to truly live. We're not living, we're dead. All of us are dead. And like I said earlier, once you truly become conscious and you understand that people are literally closed off. They don't even give you energy, so everybody naturally becomes an energy vampire. You ever notice that when you go into clubs and shit, it's hot as fuck. Everybody drunk, high. It seems like everybody in a good mood and the energy is high. But if you're not high or drunk and you're not on that frequency, it can make you sick. It made me sick a lot of times. Like that's another reason why I don't really like being around large crowds of people or all that shit. Because when you really pay attention to people's energy, don't nobody really consider themselves to have a good time no more unless they fucked up. They super high, they super drunk, so that their energy is all sporadic and shit. We don't live in an age where people understand their frequencies and understand how to control that. We all everything that exists here vibrates on a frequency. Our vocal cords vibrate on a frequency. Like speaking English is not the first thing or the most native thing that we did, you know? That's why I be getting mad all the time when folks be trying to go back and read hieroglyphs and they be like, oh yeah, this is translated from Greek to English type shit, Roman, Greek to English. And I was like, y'all realize that the reason why they wrote this shit in pictures was so that they didn't have to write the shit in like physical words, because African people are so intelligent. They said, what would be an easier way than sitting here trying to figure out what each, sound means, than to throw the shit in pictures, because we already using these verbally to communicate with one another. So they just went ahead and put the whole picture up there type shit. It be little things like that though. I'm gonna turn over these other cards, the other two. We have fairies and sylphs, but that shit's reversed. And then Ace of Earth reversed. And both of those going back with the thoughts and just grounding, like the thoughts and grounding oneself. Because basically all these cards been saying, man, one, you got to get connected with yourself. Two, you got to get conscious about your moves, your environment, and moving purposeful. Three, we are the power that we seek. We are the answers that we seek, and we must take that shit and really put it in our hands. Grasp that, understand that, understand that, vibe with that shit. Like, again, I'm gonna keep saying this shit. We need the trees. Go outside and just sit by a tree, breathe by a tree. Let the tree take the toxins and transform it into oxygen for you. Just do that and see how you feel type shit. Like, connect with somebody else on a very genuine level, on a very in a very genuine way. You know, be there for somebody or assist somebody that wants your assistance type shit, because you want to, not because, oh, this is the right thing to do. There is no right or wrong. There is, you know, adding and subtracting from something. Everybody adds and subtract all the time, every day. You have to give to receive, receive to give type shit. It's a perpetual moving system. Give take, give take. Just like I was talking about in that "What Does Love Look Like" video. If you want to check that out, it's on here on YouTube. But it's a give take situation in any way. Because sometimes, people are endless wells. I consider myself to be an endless well. Sometimes when I get really, really low, it might take me a little while to rebuild it back up. But that's because I just feel like, my energy's so big. And that's why I work so hard on keeping it to myself and sharing it when I want to share it, but not all the time. So shit. But you gotta be mindful and aware of like your frequency in a way that you can make tangible for yourself. That's why I try to talk about it in so many different ways. Like, when I think about my frequency, or when I think about me being connected to everything around me, just think about the air, and how air is never really still unless it's like extremely hot. And it only seems like it's still in that moment because it's vibrating, but not vibrating fast enough to where it'll combust. So it's moving fast enough for it to be considered still, but it's not, vibrating fast enough for it to cause fire within the atmosphere, because it's having a reaction with, oxygen and all that shit. It's like that. I think about the connection as being a form of air. Like, it radiates off of my skin and around me, and it kind of like creates like almost like a fire, but made out of air type shit from me. And that can get bigger or smaller depending on what I'm around or what I'm doing. Like, when I'm in nature, just imagine that thing that's like fire expanding and connecting to the trees and shit. So it's not like fire no more. It's like the ocean, but light as air. And I become one with everything that's outside in that moment. I'm hearing everything move. Smelling the smells, hearing the water. Like today, I seen some white-tailed deer when I was walking in the forest. That shit was fire. You don't really see deer that often around here unless they dead. And I hate seeing dead animals. That just struck a chord in my soul. I be crying and shit. I be crying when people cut down trees too. That's another reason why I just be staying inside. Cause sometimes I just be tired of crying. I be feeling a lot of shit. We feel other people's emotions. And I just be like, damn, everybody going through a lot, but don't nobody want to talk about it. It's like you can't be creepy all the time and be like, I know you didn't tell me, but I know you're going through it right now, and I would like to offer your support. Niggas be looking at you like, was you looking at my phone? Like, was you eavesdropping on my conversation? Like, what the fuck, bitch? I'm not trying to get beat up for no reason out here. Because at that point, I really wouldn't even fight back. Because I was just like, you're mad. I get that. I crossed your boundary. And that's on some like learning how to flow type shit. Like a lot of people are just reactive. A lot of people just don't know. A lot of people just looking for something, looking for something, looking for something. That's why I'm always giving shit out. I'm always giving shit out. I'm always trying to guide somebody. I'm always trying to, you know, hi. Oh, hello. Two people said hello. Hi. Welcome. Welcome. Glad to have you here. A reading? Sure. I've been specializing in these 3 card readings. Um, what do you want to know? Just put the question out there. I'll do that in a second. But yeah, a lot of people just looking for something. A lot of people just don't know. A lot of people, just vibing out in the wrong fucking ways because of money and shit. But to recap, 2021, we're moving into a far more treacherous situation that we were in the beginning. We redirecting our energy, looking for a new energy, and the realization is that we are the new energy. We gotta sow new seeds because the ones they sowed for us, the framework they gave us in our mind, is not working for us no more. We have to rebuild that type shit. Have to no longer be the outcast to ourselves and become the outcast to our environments because we deserve better, we are better, we're doing differently. And in order to do that, you know, we got to sow some new shit. Stop eating the bullshit. Get us some new shit because, taking the bullshit, you only further in, your fucked up ass situation. Doctor showed up to say, hey, it's time for some healing. It's time for some loving. It's time for some growing. It's time for some changing. You need to reconnect with your ancestors, reconnect with the earth, reconnect with, understanding everything about you, about the environment, truly becoming conscious. You know what I'm saying? And most importantly, we got to move with love. That's something that we are lacking in our environment. Love. Everything is crying out from the children to the motherfucking mountains and the trees, baby. The environment is sick. We are sick mentally, and it's all because of this money. We are taking, taking, taking. Nothing is giving. We are out of balance. We are out of harmony, and everybody wants to move in harmony again. Keep all of this in mind moving into 2021, or you will lose your shit. You will lose your mind. You will lose your house. You will lose your dog. You will lose your bitch. All that shit. Yo, nigga, all that shit. You're gonna lose all that shit. Everything that you felt like you was working so hard for because it wasn't for you. Because you weren't living for you. Redefine why your situation is treacherous right now. And redirect your energy to become who you want to become. Sow them new seeds. Okay? And since you asked, I'm going to do a 3 card reading for you. If anybody else would like a reading, you could put your little question in the live chat. I forgot that bitch was up. And I'm going to do this for you, Lee Shine. We're going to see. So I want to remind everybody that tarot cards, when you're working with them, they're not like definite answers, but more so based off of the information and everything that you're doing right now, this is the outcome of the situation. So your situation can change depending on emotions, depending on energy shift, depending on all, if you have a radical information, and because it's a two-party type thing, anything is possible with 2 human beings because humans are powerful. They can change their will at any fucking moment. That's another thing we got to remember. Everybody looking for a God, you are God, baby. You're looking at God, baby. The trees are God. Everything is God. We exist in harmony with that, and we are endless in that. In the moment that we give something else power that we cannot see, that we cannot participate with, we can't dance with, live with, that does not provide anything for us, like that white man sitting in the stars type shit, that's when we start really losing our minds and y'all wondering why we fucking crazy. Like, y'all niggas so ready to motherfucking die. So ready to motherfucking die. Like, oh, I lived a great life. Niggas be ready to be like, they're in a better place. No, baby. Everybody just come right back here. And that's because our bodies are made out of the same material as this environment and our soul is tethered to this planet. For the simple fact that we have not completed what we need to do. And the only way we're going to get somewhere else, theoretically, is either to another planet or another form of Earth. Again, looking for that energy shift. So, you're asking about your divorce. Hefty situation there. We're going to see what I can get for that. All right. So, we're going to pull 3 cards for Leishan. So I'm getting thoughts, emotions, and passions. Maybe there was something conflicting with the passions, but your last card, 2 of Water, it's looking a little promising. So the first card we got is this card again, Fairies and Sylphs. And I'm gonna read the thing out the book for that. I'm gonna read the thing out the book so you can gather your own interpretation first, and then I'm gonna explain it. What I'm thinking. This card may represent an old, mature man or woman who is a dreamer, sensible, melancholic, inspired, a poet, an artist, teacher, writer, scientist, etc. Someone with a fine character and with strong conviction, faithful and tender in combination with other. Oh, negative cards, chimerical processes and false illusions, lost illusions, false prospects, projects with no grounds or future. So that could go either way. I like doing these 3 cards because it challenges me. So the next card we're moving into is Ace of Fire, but Ace of Fire is reversed. So first, let me describe this card. So when we look at this card, right, you got this fire-ass fairy bitch floating on the cloud. She's kind of encased in stars and stuff. And when we think about like air or anything dealing with air or wind or even like fairies and stuff like that, you want to think about like thoughts or like fantasy, and that can go either way. Either, everything is so beautiful, you living in harmony in a way that everything feels like a fantasy, like everything you want is being manifested and created. But the other end of that is that you living so far deep inside of yourself, you creating a fantasy that doesn't exist. You spend so much time thinking about the fantasy that you're not actually manifesting it. The next card we're moving into is Ace of Fire reverse. So upright, you got your lion. He just killed a zebra, you know what I'm saying, on this nice, sexy ass day in the safari. But upside down, a little different, you know what I'm saying? Retrocession and plans, you will have to postpone them. Rejection of plans, which will cancel the original or new job or undertaking. Mediocrity and lack of grasp. Loss of sexual potency. Remote or troublesome relationships. Useless efforts because they will not be taken into account. You are not feeling value. You are hurt and the offense will lower your defenses. That conflict with passions. We're going to come back to that. And the last card for your 3-card reading is 2 of Water. And you see we got 2 seahorses. They look like they kissing and shit. And anytime we think about water, we're thinking about strictly emotions. So like Fire to me brings passion, and passion can bring destruction or growth depending on how you look at it. Fire brings destruction and growth. Excuse me. So let's see what Two of Water got to say for the kid. Upright. Feast and happiness of great love based on harmony, stage of a friendship, couple, or love affair with mutual understanding, spirituality, and tender feelings of piety and charity. Your love or companionship is beyond the material. It deepens in crystalline and limpid waters where mysticism reaches the highest values. Oath of endless love or friendship. That's crazy. So it seemed like what I'm trying to wrap my head around now is who really wanted the divorce. Because the cards is like saying that maybe both of y'all are really not sure. It's like y'all probably reached a point in y'all situation where it was just like, shit was going so good and then it hit a hard fucking stop. But it seemed like the stop was just a little blip in whatever y'all had going on. Because the last card is saying straight up that the relationship that y'all have is fire, you know? Straight up fire. But this card right here is saying that that fire is conflicting right now. And it might be because, both of y'all are strong personalities, or maybe y'all hit a point in y'all relationship where, passions die down for each other type shit. And sometimes that can happen, especially now that we've been in a pandemic type shit. Either y'all been apart or y'all been spending all y'all time together or and apart at the same time. And we having a weird ass situation right now. So like as far as proceeding in 2021, y'all might keep at it with the paperwork and the lawyers and all that shit. But the cards are saying that something in y'all don't want to. Something in y'all want to work it out, want to be together because both of y'all know that the situation is really good. Like, and like the other end of this though, because it is kind of like backhanded and two-sided. It's like one end of the thought process is y'all have a really good relationship. We don't need to get a divorce. Everything's gonna be fine because we've been doing so well with one another all this while. And the other end is this is a fantasy that y'all created in your head that is good, it's gonna work out. And that might just be where the passions are conflicting. One of y'all is living in the fantasy land and one of y'all is living in reality. So as far as y'all divorce proceeding, that's really like it's up in the air. It's really up in the air. That's the reality of this shit. Your divorce is up in the fucking air. I don't know if you knew that. I feel like you did in some way, shape, or form. I feel like y'all knew the shit was up in the air. It's kind of like I feel like it was like low key like a almost a hasty decision type shit. Like man, fuck this shit, high stress. But that's just because y'all passions start conflicting, and if you get two like headstrong, two very passionate individuals in a situation like that, two stubborn ass individuals in a situation like that, we could get into a situation that could blow out of proportions type shit. But like I said, this last card isn't showing some motherfucking promise. It's saying like you should let me love you. Let me be the one to give you everything you want and need. That's what that shit's saying. Straight up. So, my personal opinion, I really don't think so because it's up in the air. But at the same time, in the grand scheme of things, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's up in the air. It depends on what you do and how you take this shit and how you move your life. You know what I'm saying? That's up to you at this point. So whatever you feel like your heart is leaning to, if it's telling you to go all in for yes, let's do it. I don't want to be with you no more. Fuck it, do it. but you might have some regrets about it. But I'm not saying you're not gonna be able to get over it. But at the same time, like I said, this last card is saying that y'all solid. Y'all just hit a blip with y'all passions and shit. Y'all clashing right now. Gotta get over that bump to keep living in that beautiful ass world y'all created type shit. And that's where I'm gonna close out on that. I hope that did something for you, Leishan. I hope you didn't leave yet, but if you did, you know what I'm saying, it's cool. I wanted a little feedback on that shit. Hey, Freddie, and hey, Paulo. Thank you. Thank you for liking the way I speak. You know what? People from Brazil, I always be hearing about y'all. They be telling everybody to come to Brazil. But what would you like a reading on, Paulo? Most definitely, Freddie. Y'all pop y'all questions in there. I'm doing 3-card readings till I get tired. Oh, and for like actual healing sessions and more in-depth readings, you can find that on my Instagram at Jane Jane dot that's a period DONE. You go to my Instagram and then go on the in the bio and it'll send you to everything that you need as far as that. I'm probably gonna put it on here too, and you probably be able to find it in another video on here. But just in case I forget, because sometimes I do. Work reading? You want to know about work, Freddie? Oh, and thank you. Yeah, y'all gonna have to give me a second on that. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna stop being lazy and I'm just gonna do it. I'm just going dang, do I remember that? My login for this shit. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. There you go. Okay. Easier than I thought. All right. I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. Yes, sir. You tell me I can't paste this shit up here? Okay. Aha. Edit. Aha. Description. All right. Bear with me now. I'm still becoming one with technology. So I put the link tree in my I'm from Egypt. I need a reading, please. I got you. I got you, man. But I put the link tree in my bio. I mean not the bio, but the thing on there. So the link tree will tell you about the spiritual retreat stuff. I'm going to be doing that online. So be looking out for the update with that link. And then tarot readings in depth and then like videos and shit like that. We're gonna do all that. But let's go ahead and start with the 3-card reading for Freddie Jackson. And you just want to know about work in general. Work in general. Work in general. Okay. I must have really read the fuck out of Lee Sean because that nigga dipped. That nigga dipped all the way. I was like, damn. Freddie, when I do your reading, please give me some feedback. Like, you know, if it's wrong, you can tell me it's wrong. It's okay. I ain't gonna feel bad. Cause I'm really just doing this to learn more, you know what I'm saying? Learn from the people. Cause I feel like that people who quote unquote go get ordained for this shit is weird. It's weird. They just go to some mysterious ass place and come back with mysterious ass knowledge. And then sometimes people just be believing what they say because, oh, this is a mysterious ass oracle. Nah, bruh. I'm really trying to be connected with the energies, be one with the universe. I can't even say trying at this point. Freddie's work. My music stopped again. Probably about to start listening to beat tapes. Gonna start freestyling on this bitch in a minute. Hmm. So you got a major arcana card off Ripstick, then air and fire. So your thoughts and passions are kind of conflicting in this moment. I mean, I guess like the first thing I'm observing is kind of like you kind of just want to know if it's worth it type shit. Like, why are you doing it type shit? The first card is the outcast reverse, and we was going over this card in the beginning. You pretty much, turning yourself into somebody who you not for your job. And that's what's causing these desperation in your thoughts, which is seven of air. You see, you got this barren ass tree, barren ass land, and these little baby birds that look like, they dying of starvation type shit. But I'm gonna read to you the seven of air one so you can get a different interpretation on that if you see fit. As soon as I remember where air at. All right. All right, seven of air. Possibility of being abandoned, lack of resources, loss of objects or people, the absence of guidelines may bring about moments of desperation, confusion, or futile efforts, asking for relief and or help. Yeah, that's what it sounded like. I'm gonna get into this last card and then I'm gonna talk to you about it a little bit more. The last card is seven of fire reverse. So upright, we got this man, he going off beast mode against the dragon type shit. He protecting the lands, but reversed, you just throw all that shit out the window. Passions is beating him up. So upside down, a less comfortable position will demand resources that may not be as practical or as evolved as an exchange, barter, payment in kind, and so on. So basically, yeah, you know, your thoughts are conflicting with your passions, and that's what's caused you to outcast yourself mentally. Because you saying you started something new without resources, you obviously are passionate enough, or you believed in this enough, for it to be a viable situation. And your reality is starting to conflict with what you see for yourself in the future and how you moving now. And that's presenting that challenge that's creating you as an outcast. So the reality about your work is if you apply yourself and apply your spirit and set yourself up appropriately without, going deeply into desperation or falling into fight or flight type shit, you will most definitely be successful in what you want to do. But you already know, working for other people and shit, not really. You tired and going through a lot. I feel that. Most definitely can see that. The fact that you even still have a fire, but it's wind steady trying to knock that shit out. That's tiring. It's tiring to have that fire and then the wind coming back saying, "Man, fuck this shit, I'm out." But like the reality is, man, you got to keep it trucking, Mr. Freddie. Exactly. You ain't working for nobody else, Mr. Freddie. This is what you want to do, Mr. Freddie, and you gotta fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about what everybody else saying. Don't worry about what everybody else doing. You focus on that shit. You focus on your purpose and being purposeful as you do it. You're going to be successful no matter what. And you have to keep that in mind. Don't let your thoughts thrust you into desperation, even though it feels like, you're drowning, you being buried. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah. that's all I can say about that in conclusion. Like, stay true to you and stay true to your mission, your goal, and make sure that it is purposeful and in alignment with who you are so that you not, staying an outcast to yourself and you in there like swimwear. You're welcome. All right. Paulo, spiritual path. And Mr. Vince Wayne, we're gonna need to know your question. You coming up after Mr. Paulo. All right. I gotta play some more music. Gotta play some more music. I was like soft vibing, but I kinda wanna not soft vibe anymore. So we're gonna see how that goes. But I don't know. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this one. It's kinda in the middle. All right, you wanna know about your spiritual path. I'm gonna read the cards and then I got a whole lot to say about that shit. Spiritual path, man. I just been wondering where you been. Hmm. You know that shit's a mind game too. Any religion, you dealing with entities. Hell, you deal with entities on a daily basis, just existing. Spirituality. But I got you. I got you. We're gonna see what the cards got to say. Just to make you smile, that's a motive. Just to make you smile, that's a motive. Just to make you smile, that's a motive. Hmm. So you got water, earth, and then Iku. Iku is a major arcana card, and he's just kind of like death. So it's interesting that you already got that off rip. That's good. So I'm just gonna straight up read the definitions first, and then tell you the interpretation. So first card, two of water, but it's reversed. So we got the seahorses again, but in a different way this time. Just to make you smile, that's the motive. Upside down, confusion, tears, sorrow, breakup, mystification. The sea is rough, although the surface is calm. Therefore, its depth is frighteningly dark, which brings up violence, psychic instability, and untrue feelings. Hmm. The next card we have is Iku. Like I said, he dressed like death. But you know, death is a figment of our imaginations as well. Just look at him. He goofy as hell, bro. It's a skeleton dressed in a cloak he not need, and he carrying this sickle. Look like it's used to cut like corn off of fucking stalks and shit. But let's see what he has to bring to the table. Oh, we hitting that wall. Aha, aha, aha. Okay. Iku upright. End of something, change or transmutation. Metamorphosis, sign of disease, peak of something. Transformation into another thing, renewal, danger or crisis. Death of a thing, thought, situation, feeling, condition, state. etc. Igun or Kiomba. And then the last card we have is 5, 6, 7, 8 of Earth. 8 of Earth reverse. So upright, we got this dude, he look like he doing what he doing to the best of his ability. But upside down, we got something different. I kind of moved that kind of fast, so I'm gonna hold it right there for a second. And 8 of Earth reversed. Do not stop the driving force when feeling sure and calm because you have enough material to spare. And do not take the 8 of Earth, a cosmic lemniscate symbol of infinite wisdom and inspiration, as a paradigm without reaching conclusions. As for preserving knowledge, do not make the mistake that these conclusions may not apply to other generations. Without them, there would be no evolution. Lack of practicality, abandonment at the halfway point, useless practice, energy, work, and inspiration vanishing in time, pride, and egocentrism. So basically, what I'm getting off the cards is that you've been searching for something to kind of create some type of harmony in your existence or balance within yourself, your like physical and spiritual, and you've been trying to find some tangible, like real way to make that work for you. And like you were saying earlier, you was going through the mysticism and stuff like that with Wicca and all that shit, and that shit is most definitely an illusion, for the simple fact that the way that they practice it is so fucking weird. Most of the shit that they be doing and like cultures that claim that they're witches and stuff like that is just like earth guided rituals, and sometimes they do blood magic. I don't recommend doing blood magic, especially if you don't understand alchemy, because that shit will fuck you in the ass. Straight up. Fuck you in the ass. That's when people start getting attacked by other entities and spiritual vampires and all that shit. That's when you start going through those experiences that don't necessarily benefit you but only take away from you type shit. Like this card was saying, the waters may seem calm and still, but at the bottoms, at the depths, it's shaking your shit up. And I mean, any type of form of spirituality is going to do that, because oftentimes we don't know who we are. Like I was saying earlier, we are all going through a phase right now where people are redefining themselves, trying to truly understand what it means to be themselves. Equal popped up, like you were saying, death could be a transformation. That's exactly what death card translates into. But equal is not necessarily death card. He's like time for change. Like I was saying earlier, 2020 was a time for change for a lot of people. It was thrusting them in a new direction, shaking their shit up. You know, you you need to, change what you've been doing with your spirituality and make it more like you first. Like this card, you basically have to take what you've known and what you've been learning from these different types of spiritualities and religions that you've known over time, because even though the thing in totality might not be what you want to benefit from in that moment, there are like minuscule elements of all of these things that can help you on your path to truly finding out who you are and what pleases and eases your spirit as you're existing here type shit. So like, you really got to commit to yourself first and foremost. And just some like genuine general advice, the first thing I would suggest you doing to really get into your spirituality is sit down and write for at least 2 weeks straight. Right when you wake up, write just so you can write what you dreamed about, what's on your mind, how you feeling in that moment. It could literally be a sentence like, I woke up today feeling like shit, bye. Like some shit like that for a week, and then do it right before you go to bed to see like how your mindset is changing in that day and how your mindset changes from day to day, or if your mindset is staying consistent. Because first and foremost, your mindset, your set, thoughts that you keep giving yourself on a daily basis controls what your spirit is doing, because that's what's keeping it up in a mold. So once you start analyzing that, then you truly start getting into the spirit, because first you have to get through the mind, and once you get through the mind, you get to the spirit. So that's my first foremost suggestion with you going through your spirituality. And stay strong. Stay strong, because it's gonna get motherfucking hard. You might want to rip your hair out one day, shave that shit off, throw it back. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Everybody's journey is a little bit motherfucking different. But you gotta find yourself. You gotta stick your hand down your throat and pull yourself out. Or you can pull your head out your ass. The choice is yours. Okay, so the source of the true light, you're gonna have to define that for me. Source of true light. I feel like the most important thing you should connect to is Earth. That's the true light. And I mean, we can't even go as far as say as the sun is our true source of light at this moment, but the true source of light is you. That's what it means to me personally. Because when you think about your spirituality and shit, you're thrusting yourself into a dark space inside of yourself. Because everywhere outside, everybody got these lights. They trying to guide you in a particular way. They want you to think in a particular way. They want you to do shit the way they want you to do shit. And when you go inside, they throwing tomatoes at your ass because they either don't understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, or they don't understand why you motherfucking burning so bright, or they just don't understand you in general, or they want what you have type shit. And you gotta learn how to find that balance. You know, once you start, being that light, people are gonna be attracted to you. People are gonna want to be a part of what you are and what you're doing and all of that shit. You gotta be mindful of that when you're moving in that journey too. And it's good that you're educating yourself and studying, but most importantly, you gotta analyze yourself. Like that Dr. Man card I was showing y'all earlier. You gotta analyze yourself. So as long as you're doing that and you staying in harmony with education and actually putting out, because yes, we receive, but you got to put out too. So make sure you're sharing that knowledge and sharing what you've been learning with other people, and just living. Exactly. You need to know yourself. But that's all I got for that for you. That was a good one. I like that one. I like that one. I like that one. Did that satisfy you, Mr. Paulo? And you said relationship read you. We're gonna see if I can do that with 3 cards. Ooh, and you just didn't know what to do with it. You don't know I wasn't with it. I didn't even think I was gonna be on live this long, but okay, thank you, Mr. Paulo. I appreciate the feedback. I really do. I really do. You are very welcome. Thank you. And Mr. Vince Wayne, relationship reading. Relationship reading. We're gonna see what the cards have to say about that. And it's funny because I told myself I was gonna play The Sims, but then my energy shifted and it was like, what's today? Today's the 30th. Tarot reading. I was like, okay, self. Not gonna argue with that. I might start doing lives a little more. I actually like this. I enjoy this. Are you gonna tell me how to cleanse my cards? I'll do it for you. I only do that when I want to hard clean them, but I guess it was time, huh? What I do, like 2, 3 readings already? But I feel like they only get the most like energy traction when I do my in-person readings, because I actually let other people touch the cards. That's why I be like leaving them alone sometimes for a long time, just so they can clean themselves. But that's what I love about the in-person readings, because when you let them touch the cards themselves, you start getting deep into that shit. They be like, bitch, how did you know that? Bitch, you pulled the card. All right. Let's see what we got for this 3-card reading for Mr. Vince Wayne. So off rip, we got Ochun, then the element of fire, and then ace of air. So thoughts and passions. Hmm. Thoughts and passions, and then straight up love. So I'm gonna read the fire element and the ace of air. I'll show it to you. Fire element reversed, and then ace of air reversed. You know, upright, it look like a bird, taking flight, and then upside down, it look like a dead bird. I'm gonna see what that shit got to say. Oh, and then Ochun. So first, I'm gonna start by reading Ochun. Let me do that because I don't even think I read her the last time. I just be so confident in what she means. But I'm going to read the card. Meaning, love, sweetness, and femininity, hidden knowledge, research, and planning, gifts as a medium, hypersensitiveness, psychism, mentalism. The card can represent someone interested in medicine, either heterodox or orthodox, perhaps in social subjects, but generally related to the scientific field. A woman, wife, or girlfriend who will know how to express an opinion without arrogance or aggressiveness in a quiet manner. Subtleness and distinction. All right, moving into the fire elements. Upside down. So first I gotta read the upright. Then you read the upside down. Because it's like the same shit. The vivifying and transforming essence of fire and its clarifying spirit. Notice the dates that govern the 3 signs of fire. Characteristics of ardor, combativeness, and liveliness, incandescent or burning situation. Upside down, same as above with modified characteristics and situations with respect to the former. Impulsiveness, intolerance, and totalitarianism with respect to the latter. End, extinction, or inactivity. And then Ace of Air, reverse card, upside down. The card of high treachery, disagreement, imminent danger, loss of purity, lack of beatitude. I'm gonna pull 2 more cards just to see. Because right now, what it's showing is that thoughts are conflicting with passions. But don't necessarily take it as a bad thing. Because it looked like you in your head again. Oh, thank you, Lunar Lotus. I appreciate that. I did it myself. But yeah, it seemed like, your thoughts are fighting with your passions. And that in itself is the highest treachery to yourself. So I'm going to pull 2 more cards just to see what else I can give you on that. You got 3 of fire reversed and then 8 of earth reversed. So we're going to read the 3 of fire reversed. I'm going to show you the card first though. That's what it looked like, upright. And you got this what can be considered the Holy Trinity in a way. Because you got the 3 pillars of fire type shit. You could look at that as like, I'm look at that as like, the mother, the father, the child type shit, and then the gold in the middle. But really, these would be all like physical people, and the gold manifested would be like the relationship that exists between them. But 3 or 5 reverse means something slightly different. So we shall see. We shall see. Withdrawal of cooperation and efforts, the fire was extinguished. Adverse opinions and vested interests that may hide in the darkness and shadows of the night, resorting to lies or false statements, waiting to seize the gold that will fall from the sack. Freedom will be extinguished as light has been, perhaps as a result of vanity or pride, corruption, selfishness, and matter prevailing over the spirit. If the fire goes out, it is lack of oxygen. You will feel depressed and suffocated and may be subject to phobias, fear, or confined places, etc. Hmm. Then 5, 6, 7, 8 of Earth. Upside down. Do not stop the driving force when feeling sure and calm because you have enough material to spare. And do not take the 8 of Earth as a paradigm without reaching conclusions. As for preserving knowledge, do not make the mistake that these conclusions may not apply to other generations. Without them, there will be no evolution. Lack of practicality, abandonment, the halfway point, useless practice, energy, work, and inspiration vanishing in time. Yeah, man. More reverse than the cha-cha slide. Skill and patience. Yes, a lot of patience. I wouldn't say much skill though. I kind of threw them bitches up there. Some of them look a little better than the other ones, but the whole vibe, immaculate. But yeah, basically what I'm getting off this is that you worried about something. It's not saying in particular, what you worried about, but as far as the relationship and everything, whatever you worried about, don't beat your thoughts up. Don't like beat yourself up about it type shit. You kind of gotta let that shit come to the surface because that's like the ultimate treasury when you create that cycle of thoughts in your head about whatever you fighting about as far as your passions and then your thoughts. Because reality is, you got love, you covered in this situation. Ochun, you got that love, you got that balance, you got that femininity, and it seemed like you kind of was like going up, sliding back down, going up, sliding back down, trying to figure out things and figure out the best route, really the best way to, I guess, apply yourself or be yourself. And all you have to do is just be. Yeah, sometimes our energy is just gonna collide and shit. The energy just gonna collide and shit because when you got two like headstrong individuals and two passionate individuals, like I was telling the other dude, sometimes fire explode, but it's okay because fire comes back. You just really gotta remind yourself you gotta stay grounded and don't let what you're passionate about, burn you from the inside out completely in a way that's non-beneficial. You don't want to set yourself on fire trying to be Jesus when we already seen how that worked out for him. Okay? And you kind of need to like release your thoughts so that you can, get what you need. Yes, just be, just exist. Just exist. You're covered in love in every way possible. There's really nothing to be worried about. And if you do have worries, express them. Talk, write, share. But I'll leave it right there. But now, I think that was it for people that wanted 3-card readings. Yes. Fill your spirit with life and flow. And the only way you do that is if you become open, right? Open so you can receive, so that when you're given, it's not a adverse reaction, an adverse function. It's not harming you type shit. Did I get to the end of this playlist too? I need to make longer playlists. I mean, that's really my fault because I ain't really been listening to music like that in a while. I've been closed off myself, very closed off. And I guess, moving into the closing part of this, I could talk a little bit more about just, being mindful again. You want to be mindful and purposeful moving into 2021. Because if you're not, everything will get snatched away from you. I got you. Most definitely. And you are welcome. But yeah, you want to be more mindful when moving into 2021, because 2020 a lot of people was walking around like, chickens with their head cut off. And yes, Lunar Lotus, you want to preserve your own core vibration, but you also need to understand that your core vibration is out of whack if you don't connect with other people. And that's the biggest lesson I had to learn this year. The fattest lesson. No matter how hard I did not want to fuck with people this year, I had to fuck with people. Even though I didn't like the shit they was giving me, I had to take shit for a little bit because I didn't have nothing at all. And that's what I was coming into realization about. When you allow yourself to get so low and you allow yourself to just have nothing, you start taking anything. And it's not even considered a bad thing in that moment. It might have like an adverse effect on you when you come to type shit. You just gotta realize that shit. Like, either you're gonna replenish that shit yourself, do the necessary work, or you're gonna give into your vices and let your vices do the necessary work. And sometimes, the vices be people, be drugs, be things that cause you more harm than do you more good. And you gotta be mindful of that shit. Like, for example, I'm about to be, kind of wild with it. Money is a vice. Once you take money out of the equation, take money out of the situation, and truly like look at everything, look at what keeps us tethered, what keeps us connected. You start looking at the reality of our situation, and you start understanding how to be more mindful, how to be more purposeful. Because going to work, wearing a uniform, talking how somebody wants you to talk, looking how somebody wants you to look, pretending to be amicable with people that you can't even really feel the energy off of. And shit, a lot of people don't got jobs and shit right now because they letting everybody go. The new world order that everybody was talking about pushing through type shit was the fact that a lot of this shit is moving straight electronic. They want this shit to become the new norm. And that's something that you gotta be mindful of moving into 2021. This ain't no fucking conspiracy. This is really just generalization observations of our fucking existence. Cause a lot of shit has been going down for the past couple of years. A lot of shit has been happening. A lot of, spiritual shit is coming to, what's that word? It's coming full cycle, getting a closure type shit. And what else was I talking about in the beginning? Well, I'm not gonna go all the way back to everything I was talking about in the beginning. I'm just gonna go over some more points because this is supposed to be like a conversation, not a 500-600 years. Yeah, man. Oh, that reminds me. This is what I want to talk about again. What I'm about to just like go into. We as Black people, we African Americans, Afro, other fucking races, whatever the fuck, need to stop trying to assimilate into the cultures that are considered the majority, because our culture is every culture, because Africans influenced all cultures in every way, shape, and form, from their religions to their cultural dress to their cultural activities. You could even go as far as to say the motherfucking food they eat. Because if you think about everybody's cultural background, culture is just what people did to survive and enjoy living in a particular region or area. And the real reason that black people got washed out of history type shit is because everybody took history and made it their color. The moment that you realize that everything is ours, everything belongs to us, the land that we walk on now is ours and our duty to protect, preserve, and redirect and resow seeds, then that's step one into your true power or true liberation. Everything, bro. You gotta realize that shit. Like that's key reason why I'm always telling black women in specific, like, you mad at a white woman for trying to wear braids and shit, but you're not trying to understand the psychological thing behind it. That woman is sick, so sick she's tanning her own skin, giving herself cancer. She's trying to change her hair. She's giving surgery on her body because she views us as more beautiful. She views us as godly. She views us as something she wants to be. And instead of, truly trying to get that woman some help, you give her attention in an adverse way, and she takes that attention and use that shit to feed her soul in that moment. Because yeah, it's not good, but because there is no good or bad, she's getting her fill, she's getting her share in some way, shape, or form. A lot of people are fucking sick. The white man's sick too. Why you think they don't want they hire black women but don't hire black men? They know a black woman gonna carry their fucking organization on their back just like they do their babies. The black man though, that nigga got the likelihood of saying, fuck this shit, I'm out. You're welcome, Lunar Lotus. Thank you. Um, Something else, some other people that you should listen to: John Henrik Clark, Kwame Ture, Black Leaders Discussions with Kwame Ture, and people like what's her name? Not Nikki Giovanni. Nikki Giovanni is a good one to listen to too, because she gives you a different perspective on black women dealing with black men, because that's another thing. Oh my gosh, yes, let's get into that right now, honey. Before I even get off of this shit, honey. We are moving into a place of harmony. Yes, James Baldwin, most definitely. We're moving into a place of harmony as the black family type shit. And we coming into realization about a lot of things. One, there is no real agenda on black families. The agenda was already fucking brought out when they was killing niggas bitches in front of them, taking babies out of people's stomachs, shooting kids in front of mothers, shooting kids and husbands in front of mothers, shooting wives and kids in front of husbands, hanging husbands. That damage is damn near fucking irreversible. And we are still trying to find some way to cope, find some way to exist, understanding that all this shit happened to us. There is no motherfucking agenda to make niggas gay. There is no motherfucking agenda for the black man to be against the family. No, because it started with them tricking y'all into thinking that they start making y'all think that being a white man was the next best thing to motherfucking do. But everybody did that, and then they started falling further into a pit because they didn't know who they were, just trying to assimilate type shit. And like, you gotta like really think about this shit on like a very like mundane level. People who didn't know how to fucking read, people who could barely feed themselves, people who went from scrounging from scraps, not having shit to cover their ass, thrust into a situation where they must now act like they're superior but still be treated less than. That creates a situation for pure inferiority, and that shit is only reciprocated in the households because the man only knows how to make himself be superior. They forced him to learn English. They forced him to learn black, not even black. They forced him to learn white people mannerisms and shit. They forced him to try to be big and try to be small, even though he's so big. And this shit caused his spirit to be angry. And he bring that home to his woman. His woman is in some way, shape, or form trying to show him love, and sometimes she suffered the same shit that he did. So now you got two niggas You know what I'm saying? All the time. The kids, all they seen is violence, alcohol, and all that shit. We don't think about how slavery directly affects that. Not no random ass agenda they doing now. Now I will not the motherfucking war on drugs, because the war on drugs is really the war on everybody that's motherfucking poor. You know what I'm saying? They gave people in the economy another way to make money up under the table, but also they make money on the back end over the table by y'all making money under the table when they catch y'all for these offenses, when they catch y'all trafficking this shit, when they catch y'all, using the shit or even holding the shit. Yeah, civilized indigenous. That's a sick ass thing. Fuck Reagan. Facts. And the reading, you will have to give me a moment on that. I'm in a deep thought process right now. Um, but yeah, like we don't think about how those things trickle down into what we doing and how we doing type shit. And once you really learn that and start taking that step towards truly healing your heart, healing your partner's heart, and understanding that both of y'all fucked up. Like that's what I had to come to the realization of, and that why my relationships and why I spent so much time trying to understand love, because I just didn't understand why niggas, especially men that I was dealing with, boys I was dealing with, was not giving love. And the reality was because they never knew love. Their parents didn't know love. Their parents only know how to make a situation amicable and work for as long as it can work. And then somebody might go cheat on somebody, some fucked up shit happening. Now we're close again, type shit. No, they don't know true unconditional love. A lot of niggas did not know true unconditional love until like I walked into their lives, type shit. And that shit hurts. It hurts. And I see a lot of niggas dealing with it with females too. It's some genuine ass men out here getting dogged because girls don't know no better, bruh. Insecurity and people pleasing, 100%, Lunar, 100 motherfucking %. Now I learned that I was fucking people pleasing out of the trauma I experienced growing up. Like I'm just, what can I do so he won't be mad? What can I do so he can be happy? What can I do so we don't have to argue? What can I do so I can be chill, type shit? And then when I started getting into situations where there was actual love from the other person, nigga, I thought my heart was stopping. I thought I was dying. I thought this shit was motherfucking fucking, booty. Like, I was like, this is love? Am I dead? This peace? Am I supposed to keep that? You still there. You gotta get out of there. Get out of there. Unless you're really willing to teach somebody love. And that's another thing. A lot of us going through our journeys right now, looking for our partners and shit. Like, I've been telling folks all day on this live, we moving into a period of more harmony and, duality between the male and the female. Because everybody has to understand that men are not just masculine. Men are masculine and feminine, just like women are feminine and masculine. Hermit mode, most definitely. I just came out of motherfucking hermit mode, bro. Hermit mode be doing you justice. And if y'all don't know what hermit mode is, 6 years? That was me in 2017, bro. I was on and off with this dude for like 5 years, bro. Nigga controlled my whole like dating patterns and all that shit. It be tough, but let me tell you a thing. You about to glow the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Turn up. You about to become that supernova, and you about to have control over it. You're going super saiyan, as I like to say it. A lot of us are going fucking super saiyan, and we go even harder when we be with that person. Yeah, baby. Oh, most definitely. Most definitely gotta move on. That sound like me when I was going through my depression with my girl. We was living together and everything, but she couldn't do nothing for me in that situation. I had to accept that. I had to accept that shit. I had to accept that shit. But yeah, back to the like duality. So I want right here, before you leave here today, to truly understand that men are masculine and feminine, women feminine and masculine. They merge together, and we have to learn how to accept and receive that from one another, and not just expect a girl to be all, I need to get my hair, I need to get my nails done, because that's not femininity. You know what that is? That's them portraying what they feel like looking good is in that moment. Because niggas go and get their nails and shit done. gay men all the time trying to figure out how to portray feminine energy. And it's like, you can't portray feminine energy because each woman embodies what the fuck femininity is. Like, femininity is not, you know, dresses and skirts and weaves and makeup. Femininity is, I have a vagina and I know how to handle things with care type shit. Masculinity isn't all pants, work boots, let me go throw some boxes around. You know what I'm saying? Niggas, shit niggas do. Cars and shit. Masculine energy is, okay, how can I support? How can I provide? How can I take care of? Because the reality of the situation is providing, supporting, taking care of a woman came into play when a man got a woman pregnant. That is the only reason a woman needs a man to hold her back up, hold her up, go and get food, to go and get wood. Because after you give birth, nigga, you can't walk. You can't do a whole bunch of shit. You're not supposed to. And that's where your nigga come into play. That's where your nigga becomes your shelter. That's where your nigga becomes your provider. That's where your nigga take care of you type shit. Or your partner. However you want to look at that shit. Because I don't want to isolate nobody. But at the same time, when I say nigga, I'm always saying male. I use this shit interchangeably with male and female. Because everybody's a nigga to me. You could be white, Mexican, black, Asian. You a nigga. Female, male, nigga. Transgender, nigga. Everybody's a nigga around this part. But like, yeah, we have to understand like the roles and shit. Like, when people think about roles in relationships and stuff now, they think about the roles as like, oh, I'm gonna have to pay the bills, I gotta go to work, you know, dumb shit like that. And no, the role is, how can I support my partner? Yes, everybody got masculine and feminine tendencies, exactly. But it's on both ends. Females understand how they can support their partners. Men understanding how they can support their partners in their times of need, because men also go through a shadow phase, a shadow period, a portal period. Sometimes niggas be going through a rut and they literally need they partner to provide for them, take care of them, be that light when they in the dark. And everybody gotta, understand that. Yeah, nuclear family. I don't really get too deep into their terminologies about shit because they've been trying to define shit for the longest. And nigga, a lot of this shit just common sense. Like, a lot of it is just common sense. They go start attaching words like that to it. Nuclear family. Nigga, y'all know what the hell y'all ancestors was doing in the motherfucking slave times when the motherfuckers was over there and over here whipping niggas and murdering niggas and setting shit on fire. First off, them niggas killed most of these niggas over here with disease that their body had. Let's start there. Them motherfuckers was nasty. Motherfucking nasty. How you wipe out almost a whole civilization by just breathing on niggas? How you do that? That's what I want to know. These niggas came over here and said, and everybody died. Like, yo, and they talk about yes, let's do Thanksgiving. Let's thank the natives for giving us the food. You talk about the food you stole after you killed everybody? Fucking ingrates. But yeah, I'm gonna do this last 3-card reading because it's in line with relationships and stuff too. For I think her name was Ara. She was asking for something specific. Really? I'm just gonna pull 1 card because that was very specific. So y'all can keep talking to me and shit. Indigenous people taught them how to make toothpaste and they added sugar to the shit. Like, for real? Boy, what? Exactly. Like, once I learned about like peppermint and mint, like you could drink the tea and the shit kills the bacteria in your mouth. So why the hell is we using fluoride and all that extra bullshit? Sean's next action in love. Ah, I see what is going on here. If I pull up the same cards though, I'm gonna be a little salty. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the 3. Cause since we're on that relationship vibe right now, I'm rocking with it. Also, if y'all interested, I have a couple of videos describing like love and all that shit in a different way in case you needed, a transformative way of thinking or just some shit to pick out of. Pick my brain. Pick my brain. Pick my brain. Ooh, I was slouching. My back started hurting and shit. Oh yeah, y'all. I might start doing these lives more often, but it's gonna be like at times like this in between motherfucking 12 a.m. and fucking 5 a.m. Twin flame? No. I don't really believe in twin flames because anybody can be a twin flame if they figure out what you like, why you like that, and how you like that. They can become you just like that and vibrate on a frequency same with yours. Anybody can be your twin flame. Now, what you need to look for is similar energy because flame, that's the passion, but overall energy, that's what's controlling that shit. Right. Hmm. So, Sean's next action against you in love. So, we got the Bablo Orisha. We got, ew, 9 of water and 3 of water. So, it seems like you were the one more so on the emotional end of things. Hmm. So, we got the Bablo Orisha reversed. Okay. Then we got 10 of water. So, I'm going to take my time to talk about this card real quick. It's one of my favorite cards, almost. Because it's like, you close to reaping everything that you want. It's like you so close yet so far in the same grass. And then the 3 of water. Again, water deals with like emotions and stuff. And that kind of representing a cycle for me. So we're gonna read. We're gonna read. You know what I'm saying? So the first one we're gonna read. Well, I don't have to read the Bablo Orisha one because I already know I be getting this card almost every time. So basically, when you see this card reversed or upright, it means that you kind of like, not even kind of, you can basically envision yourself in the same golden light that he's encased in, because he's basically like, doing everything that he needs to do. He's got one hand raised to the heavens, one above his altar and stuff. He connected to everything he need to be connected with and being true to himself in that moment. So this card always comes up when it's like, people are easier to feel like they in danger type shit, but this card protects you. It's saying that you're protected, you're guided, you got this guiding light over you. You're you know you're going into what you want to. You're doing what you want to, or even if you don't know it's what you want to do right now, it's what you want to do because you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? You control your actions and your thoughts. Control your actions, and sometimes your actions control your thoughts. You got to be mindful of that. 9 of water upright. Prosperity and profits in love. We begin to harvest the fruits of good sowing. The mind goes hand in hand with the heart. There is no imbalance between the emotions and the mind. We are very close to complete happiness. Our physical welfare is evident when these factors are found in combination. Hmm. All right, all right, all right. Let's see what 3 of water got to say though, because it's reversed. 3 of water reversed. Impiety, lack of faith, understanding, and charity. False promises and profits of vanishing success. Extreme sensuality. Desire for material domination and slavery through gluttony, alcohol, and sex. Huh. Okay. So what I'm getting is kind of like your emotions kind of been controlling your passions and your thoughts as far as the situation, and you more so worried about what he's gonna do or what he's gonna do to you, but you should be more so worried about what you're doing and what you're doing to yourself and what you want, because the reality of the situation is, you know, you can't spend so much time focusing on what your partner is doing or what the person you love or like is doing, because then you're not focusing on yourself, and if you're not focusing on yourself, you can't properly even be in a relationship, because now you're becoming like, their overseer, their watcher. You becoming their monster, low key, and that could be an issue. But also with the 3 of cards, it seemed like, I mean, the Three of Cards, the Three of Water seemed like maybe you had got into a cycle of thinking because of y'all might have hit a blip or something in y'all situation. It seemed like you was, reaping the benefits, the joy of everything being great. You felt so safe, loved, supported, all that shit, and then something happened, and then this created this cycle of thoughts of like, you know, this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this. But it's like, okay, what don't you want? What don't you like? Why are you perpetuating this cycle in your head? Why do you think you're unhappy if you feel like you are type shit? 'Cause I feel like, it's just conflicting. Your emotions and your thoughts conflicting with your actions and everything. And you worried about him, and it's like you kind of got to figure out where you going, what you want to do. Are you happy? You know, are you happy thinking about what he's going to do? Are you truly happy just being with him? Can you just be, And that's kind of what you got to answer for yourself. You got to figure out what your action is right now to even get to his action, because it's up in the air. His action is based off of your action, and not in a way that's reactive, but that in a way that's just falling in suit, falling in line type shit. Because people can only go as far as you allow them to go, and that's the reality of that. So you kind of really got to think about that for a moment. You really got to sit with yourself and analyze that for yourself. Because once you analyze that, his actions will become clear. Whether, you know, it's viable, whether it's bad, you know, or whether it's just going to be a situation that completely drains you, takes away from. That's going to be up to you to figure out, and after you, do the work to do so. So I hope to help you some. I know I didn't give you like the exact answer you're looking for type shit, but in the same breath it did. And one more thing. What do I want to add? You're so welcome, Ara. Thank you for even participating. I didn't think, folks was gonna show up and participate. But y'all some night owls. Oh, fuck you with it. Cause a nigga like to sleep during the daytime. But the last thing I want to like close out with, cause I gotta get up in the AM to do something, and then I'm gonna go to sleep. But last thing I want to close out with is, first and foremost, be mindful and purposeful moving into 2021. Make sure that you are purposeful in everything that you do. Two, become conscious of yourself, your environment, and truly understanding everything that you are. Three, if you can get some stones, get you some stones. Okay? I feel like this is fundamental to helping me stay grounded and really connecting with what everybody thinks is nigga superpowers. Because we all possess abilities and capabilities, given the fact that we were, designed to operate within the frequency that surrounds us. And sometimes you get access to a little bit different shit because you're vibrating on some different shit. But be careful, because hate to break it to you, alien communication don't happen through telephones, baby. Some of that shit out here vibing on your frequency might not be vibing with you. And be mindful of your relationships, you know what I'm saying? Most definitely keep working on yourself to find harmony with other people, and that's going to lead you to love in any and every aspect. And do not strictly look for love in sexual or romantic relationships. Do not fuck yourself in the ass like that. Don't do that. That I was fucking myself in the ass like that. Love exists in your female friends. Love exists in your male friends. Love exists in your family members. Love exists everywhere, and strangers. You know what I'm saying? Just open yourself up, open your mouth, allow yourself to receive, enjoy the vibes, because I promise you it's immaculate. It's immaculate, you know what I'm saying? But yes, that's all I'm going to leave y'all with today. Please be sure to check out some of my other videos, because I do offer a lot of stuff. And even, go back to the beginning of the stream if you missed it, because I went through the whole tarot reading for 2021, even though I've been talking about it this whole time. Harmony, love, all that shit. We need that shit. We really have to work on our self-growth and shit. check it out. And I put in the description of this video the link tree for spiritual healing shit and the consultation and all that shit for that. I'm going to start offering online for that as well as still in person. And thank you guys for coming to my live. I appreciate the support, and I love everybody that stepped in here today. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope to see y'all next time. Peace, love, and light, my niggas. Good night.